It's knowing the language of your tunes and therefore being able to piece them back together without just re skills. What are re skills? I call them re skills because they're read or remember. That's how most people are playing. Either they're reading what's in front of them or they're memorizing what's in front of them. And therefore, they're never developing the skills to speak the language naturally the way they do with English, for example. And improvisation comes from that linguistic freedom. For those of you who thought I'd stop teaching YouTube videos, not at all. I've been doing really bite-sized, valuable bits of information in the form of shorts. So go to the channel, click on shorts, and you'll see them there. Chord progressions are everything for fluency, but not the way people think. If you feel like you've watched every YouTube video, subscribed to every player and teacher who you think sounds cool and can show you something, but you're not getting fluent, then this is for you. Everyone wants to sound fluent and have the freedom to improvise, but they're missing one key ingredient, and that is not just understanding chord progressions intellectually, but actually having a way to practice them so that the analysis is quick enough to be done in real time. In other words, yes, you are thinking of building chord progressions as you're playing, not just using these as an instruction of what to play on your lead sheet and then forgetting about how they work when you're actually playing. I work with so many students that can analyze that this is a minor 2-5, a minor 7 flat 5 to D7 leading to a G minor 7, but they can have that conversation before they play, or they can have it after they play, but that is not happening in their heads whilst they play. And why should that make any difference to you? Well, first of all, you'll stop thinking chord, 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 and start thinking progression. If I'm in the key of F, I'm automatically thinking of my 7 chords in the key of F that come into play. And then if I want to get to chord number 2, G minor 7th, then I know that it can be approached by its 2-5, which will be a minor configuration, not an A minor 7, but an A minor 7 flat 5. I talk about this a lot, so you'll be able to find me teaching this. But that A minor 7 flat 5 to D7 takes us to the G minor. So a few things happen here. First of all, if I've got a lead sheet in front of me and I see A minor 7 flat 5, then automatically I'm expecting the D7 next, followed by the G minor. I automatically know that any key that has a G minor 7 inside it, any major key, so that's chord number 2 in F, chord number 1, 2, 3 in E flat, or chord numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the key of B flat, could have that progression, the A half diminished, or A minor 7 flat 5, means the same thing, D7 to G minor 7. So that's my expectation. It also means that I have a chance of hearing that when I'm listening to somebody else play, because these are common sounds I'm used to making, and therefore I can recognize them in other people's playing. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new content. If you've got something good to say, then comments really help as well. For more lessons like this, come and see us on Jazz Skills. More about that at the end. But now let's get back to the lesson. So can you see how already we're starting to talk about language, not just playing the right chords at the right time so we can then do the cool shit. This is the cool shit. Also, think of these progressions as the building blocks for the future skills that you do want to use. So voicing, spicing these chords up a bit, has to come from progressions. We don't want to just be thinking, what could I do on an A minor 7 flat 5? Let's think of it in the context of the language and the progressions. Movements. So as you may know, I studied with Barry Harris. So we would say that A minor 7 flat 5 inverted corresponds to this C minor 6, which is one of the movement scales, C minor 6, D diminished, C minor 6 inverted, D diminished. But every time I play C minor 6, as you're about to see, D diminished, it's also an inverted A minor 7 flat 5. And so it becomes the movement scale. So we could have, instead of just static chords, we might have some movement in there. We might have just some notes moving. Then also, this connects to improvisation because we'll have rules and tricks of how I can improvise over a minor 2-5. So because it's a minor 2-5 in G minor, if you know your G harmonic minor scale, don't worry, all your classical lessons didn't go to waste if you had them, then this is the second chord built on that scale, alternate notes, the A minor 7 flat 5. This is the fifth chord built on that scale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And therefore we can use the G harmonic minor scale, at least on the 2-5 part of it, for improv. And it can change by the time we get to G minor 7. That's another conversation. But you see where I'm going with this? It's knowing the language of your tunes and therefore being able to piece them back together without just re skills. What are re skills? I call them re skills because they're read or remember. That's how most people are playing. Either they're reading what's in front of them or they're memorizing what's in front of them. And therefore, they're never developing the skills to speak the language naturally the way they do with English, for example. And improvisation comes from that linguistic freedom. So if we develop it by practicing, not just knowing intellectually, but by having ways to practice our progressions in the context of tunes, using tunes to learn progressions, not just using tunes as static robotic vehicles and then going to a teacher and saying, but how do I make this sound cool? And to be really honest, well-meaning teachers will say, well, here's some cool voicings, try doing that and try doing this. Maybe that will sound more cool, but the student hasn't developed the linguistic skills to be flowing through the way that teacher is. And that's what you need to have. So this is exactly what we do in the Developing Fluency course on jazz skills. Do you want to finally make it count this time and develop the fluency to be able to improvise on top of it? Play movements, voicings, accompaniment, beginnings, endings, and have the freedom to not just remember the last 1 or 2 tunes that you learned. Come and see us on Jazz Skills.